I found on the internet earlier this afternoon. Inserting partisan politics into our military is dangerous. Our nation's military cannot be divided into political factions where loyalty is based on whether service members agree with the political views of the Commander-in-Chief. As the U.S. Supreme Court noted when withholding restrictions on partisan politics in the military, we live under, quote, the American constitutional tradition of a politically neutral military establishment under civil control, close quote. There should be zero tolerance by the military for any partisan politicking by active duty service members or men or women. This is not only, quote, prejudicial to good order and discipline, close quotes, but could lead to the loss of lives. We already have one dysfunctional institution marred by partisan infighting, the U.S. Congress. We can't afford another. You might think that that op-ed was written for this case back in the 1990s. Well, it wasn't. It was written on April the 27th and posted on the CNN opinion page, written by a very well-known liberal activist and columnist for CNN. This was written because in response to a young Marine sergeant whose offense was he posted on a Facebook page 9 words that were disparaging to his Commander-in-Chief. That Marine was given a less than honorable discharge. I would say that that was rather harsh, but he deserved what he got. And there's a lot of people might not agree with me. I would say based on what happened there, that the gentleman who was being nominated got off awful easy back in the 90s when the military wanted this whole issue to go away. And therefore, they were easy about what they decided to give to this gentleman. I served for 30 years in the uniform, and for the last 8 years working for the Department of Defense. And that's more years than some members of this chamber have been alive. And I understand that it's hard, unless you've served in the uniform and have served around the world and seen the conditions that we don't have to live in, that have fought wars so that we can sit here today and make the judgments and make these free speech proclamations that we make on a daily basis. I can tell you without a doubt that without those rules and the laws that those men and women live up to, we would not be sitting here today. Good order and discipline. These rules weren't invented in the last 10, 20, 30 years. These are tried and true laws that have evolved over thousands of years of warfare. And if you haven't served, I'm sorry, this may be a foreign concept to you. When I found that this gentleman was the record from him, and I've heard good things about him, Mr. Lapasi has made a tremendous appeal for his quote-unquote qualifications. And I don't deny that he's a great prosecutor. But what I will tell you is he made choices which disqualify him, in my mind, from being a judge who should be above repute. And I would say that at a time when he swore an oath of allegiance and he subjected himself to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and he gave up most of his First Amendment free speech rights, that's right, he gave them up when he swore, I'm not sure and can have no confidence that at a time of his choosing, he will opt to also take a position that is against the laws of this Commonwealth and our country. And therefore, I will not be voting for his nomination to a judgeship. And I request my colleagues to follow the same. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.